Hello everyone, I'm Zethrix.
And I'm Savazar. And we played Dinkum for 100 days, and here's what happened.
I did the usual of making my way back over to Fletch to see what else I wanted to buy. I purchased a fishing license. I made my way back over to John to sell all the goodies from the day before. I didn't make as much, but it was still a pretty penny. I bought my first shovel, and I had to buy another pickaxe. Savazar finally found the wood that we've been looking for. And keep in mind that I had been eating fruit as much as I could to keep my energy levels up so I could stay productive throughout the day. Finally, thanks to Savazar, I had a good amount of palm wood. I made my way back to John to finish my first quest, hoping that he would decide to move to the island. And he gave me a nice lamp. I bought my first fishing pole. Food was starting to become a big issue, so I made my first cooking table. And I made my first wooden crate because I was starting to run out of room. I put the cooking table right next to the crafting table and gazed my eyes over the delicious feast that was soon to come. I started to get some mangrove sticks because I needed these for a food recipe. I tried out fishing for the first time. It was not what I expected, but I did manage to hook my first fish. And boy, did he put up a fight. Just look at how tired I am after catching him. I'm literally about to pass out. I completed some more tasks. I spent over 10,000 dinks, and also keep in mind I had been keeping up with my daily milestones every day to get more permit points. Apparently I smashed another 10 rocks. And I used the saw over 10 times. I helped one friend. And I used 5 tools. And I also broke my first tool. With the mangrove sticks and the meat I collected, I was able to cook my first meal. And of course, I gave it to Savazar. Since I was out of energy, there's always time for decorating. I thought this was a nice spot for the lamp. With all the ores I was collecting, I had to make another furnace. And I also made my first scythe, but I wasn't sure what it was for yet. I started to move some things around and tested the scythe out. At this point, I didn't know where this alligator came from. I'm pretty sure Savazar brought it over to try to take me out, but I think it backfired pretty quickly. This was the first death. But I continued on with my scythe and managed to take out this little alligator. Savazar was not happy. After using the scythe, I got a bunch of seeds and thought I could plant them right here. I got a milestone for chopping over 50 grass. I am now a human mower. And I planted over 10 seeds. I also completed a quest for Fetch, who, like any grandma, just likes to pay in cash. Like I said, I was having issues with energy, so I tried to rest, but it didn't work. I told you I was running out of room for things, so I started to put everything in my little chest, and it was time to call it a day. And that wraps up day 4. As usual, I got several hunting levels, bug catching levels, didn't even get a fishing level, did lots of mining and foraging, and today we earned a total of 13,000 dinks. Since John was visiting, I paid him the usual visit and sold all my goodies from the day before. And I also completed a quest for John, and John likes furniture, I guess, so he gave me a chair. I gave Savazar my fishing rod, so I bought another one. I then learned about this area, which keeps track of all your progress in the town. And I finally learned about deeds, and I started with the bulletin board. These deeds basically allow you to spend your money and supplies on buildings or basically helping develop the town. And you can't pay them up front. You have to go in debt, but I managed to pay off the debt right away. After paying off my debt, I bought the shop deed. I was comfortable with being able to afford all the supplies. However, I could not afford all of that debt. I bought the hunting license and learned how to make a wooden bat, a basic spear, and a basic hammer. I also bought the metal detecting license, and I placed my bulletin board right next to our base. I wasn't exactly sure of how I wanted to lay out our town. I didn't think this was a good spot, but I thought this spot would be good for now. I made my first spear, and I couldn't wait to try it out. So, unfortunately, this dog paid the price. I don't think Savazar was too happy about the dog slaying that I was doing. So now I thought I was all rough and tough, and I tried to take on these guys and regretted it instantly. As soon as they set me on fire, I knew I messed up, so I had to jump in the water to put myself out. So I went back to being a bully and focused on what I could actually handle. I did the usual stone mining and bug catching. At this point, I'm literally falling apart. I'm out of energy, I'm out of health, so I go back to start making some more food. So of course, I could keep the grind going. After a successful day of mining, it was time to turn all my ores into bars, so that way I could finally finish the shop. I fought my first kangaroo, and I wasn't ready for the kick. I was not ready. They look all cute and cuddly when they're jumping around, but once you fight them, you better watch out. And I literally did not even notice this little crocodile try to bite my toes off. I managed to escape just in time though. And this little piggy ran all the way home and went straight to bed. At this point, I was still trying to figure out the game. I was bouncing in between tasks. I would mine, I would catch bugs, I would go get more food. I was definitely having a hard time keeping my energy up, but I was doing my best. I finally got a few hunting levels, I got more bug catching levels, and more mining levels. With the usual foraging levels. And I only earned 3,000 dinks, but good thing John was visiting again today. I checked the bulletin board first thing to see that we had an Alpha Bush Devil quest. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I knew it was going to be a challenge. I went back to John to finish selling all my goods from the day before. I really felt like John was starting to give me less money for everything that I was bringing him, but it didn't stop me from spending all my money here. At this point, I was getting a lot of stuff done, so I had a ton of permit points to collect. And we're now sitting at over 2,000 permit points. So I bought myself an extra tool belt license, which allows me to have one more tool in the tool belt slot. And I actually bought tool belt license number 2 so I could have 2 more slots. And I increased the size of my inventory. After that, I set out to explore and see what else I could find. I found 2 metal barrels that were full of all sorts of goodies. And this was my first encounter with one of these guys. He came out of nowhere and then called all his friends who literally just showed up out of nowhere to try to take me out. My basic spear wasn't making the cut, so I made a basic hammer to see how that would do. I made sure to put all my goodies that I got from the barrels away because I didn't know what they were for yet. And I started planting trees. I thought this would pay off in the long run for sure. I was just trying to look for whatever solution I could find to solve my energy crisis. And then, Savazar and I were off on an adventure. We set out to look for that Alpha Bush Devil. We didn't know what we were going to find, but we thought we were ready. At this point, he just wanted us to be his little chew toys, but we did our best to take him out. Until he did this move. At first, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew we could just run around, try to dodge the circles, and we'd be okay. Savazar was relentless with her little spear. I don't think she even got hit one time. And I regretted making this basic hammer. It was way too slow and the spear was way better. Honestly, props to Savazar for this one. She came in clutch, definitely carried the team on her back. And thanks to Savazar, we were able to finally put him in the gutter. And with that, we managed to kill our first boss. So I did what anyone would do after killing a boss that was trying to murder me and my friend. I caught bugs. And after this day, we earned this long rest, honestly. I'd say day 6 was very successful. I started our tree orchard and we killed our first boss, as well as getting tons of permit points and new licenses. And with the end of day 6, I got hunting levels, bug catching levels, mining levels, and more foraging levels. This was going to continue to be a daily thing. Alright everyone, I really hope you enjoyed episode 2. Thanks for watching. Please let us know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.